This formally classified letter, written by General Nathan Twining, was the result of numerous UFO sightings by Air Force pilots, such as Colonel Stevens described. Concerning flying disc reports, General Twining states, and we quote, "The phenomenon reported is something real and not visionary or fictitious. There are objects, probably approximately the shape of a disc, of such appreciable size as to appear to be as large as man-made aircraft. The reported operating characteristics, such as extreme rates of climb, maneuverability, must be considered evasive when sighted. Some of the objects are controlled either manually, automatically, or remotely. The apparent common description of the object is as follows: metallic or light reflecting surface, circular or elliptical in shape, flat on the bottom and domed on the top." End quote. This report makes it abundantly clear that the United States military knew of the reality of flying saucers and deliberately kept it a secret. Cosmic Watergate is an accurate way to describe the United States government's official reaction to UFOs. The sharp difference between the FBI's public statements about UFOs and their real actions is a good example of this. J. Edgar Hoover wrote several letters stating that the investigation of unidentified flying objects is not and never has been within the jurisdiction of the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover successfully kept the FBI's UFO file secret until 1976, when Dr. Bruce Maccabee received part of the FBI UFO file as a result of his Freedom of Information Act request. Here are the documents that were released. There are over 1,000 pages which provide information on the FBI's and the Air Force's secret investigations of UFOs. This startling document was recovered from the FBI's secret file. It is in J. Edgar Hoover's own handwriting. In response to a government request to investigate UFOs, Mr. Hoover wrote, and we quote, "I would do it, but before agreeing to do it, we must insist upon full access to discs recovered. For instance, in the LA case, the Army grabbed it and would not let us have it for cursory examination." End quote. This memo clearly indicates that Mr. Hoover considered UFOs a very serious subject that should receive top-level security. One of the events that may have contributed to the opinions reflected in Mr. Hoover's memo is the apparent recovery of the wreckage of a crashed UFO by the United States Army. This happened on July 8th, 1947. This document, recovered from the FBI's secret file, shows that during this time period there were over 150 sightings of UFOs over sensitive U.S. military installations. Many of these sightings fit the standard disc-shaped UFO description and were reported by more than one reliable witness. The best-known government responses to the UFO question were the much-publicized U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book and the Condon Report. In spite of the Air Force's public statements to the contrary, a close examination of the evidence in these reports indicates that some UFOs are extraterrestrial spacecraft, and that the purpose of these reports was to act as public relations cover-ups rather than scientific studies.
During the past 10 years, I've talked with over 24 military personnel who have confidentially relayed cases involving not only landings very near or on military installations in this country, but also cases involving physical residue. In one instance, an individual assured me that he had personally seen to the transmission of this report to Project Blue Book, and this was a report involving a landing and quite a number of witnesses, security personnel. And if one is to check the Blue Book files, the files that have been opened to the public, those cases are not there, not a single case.
Colonel Stevens gave us a good explanation as to why military people and former military people do not speak out about their classified experiences with UFOs.
Now, when a person working in a security field leaves the field, he's reminded of his oaths, and he's sworn not to reveal information handled officially during the time of his tenure in that particular security thing, and he's warned of the penalties. It's a $10,000 fine and 10 years in prison, and in extreme cases, forfeiture of all pay and allowances due or ever to become due. And so it's hard to find people who are not vulnerable, who don't have something to lose by telling what happened to them.
This memo, written by General Carroll H. Bolender in 1969, became public in 1979 and revealed that reports of unidentified flying objects which could affect national security were not part of the Blue Book system. It is clear that the government regards UFOs as a matter of national security because they can fly rings around our conventional jets or rockets. The first country to be able to duplicate the behavior of UFOs could attack any other country in the world with absolute immunity.
You see, the single most important aspect of a flying saucer, from a government or military viewpoint, is its potential for military utilization. The first country to be able to duplicate the behavior of a flying saucer will rule the planet.
These recently released secret CIA UFO files indicate intense government interest in the military potential of UFOs. These files establish that the CIA had agents all around the world gathering information on UFOs. This interview with Senator Barry Goldwater provides an even clearer view of the government's concern about the military potential of UFOs. Senator Goldwater was the Republican candidate for president in 1964 and is a major general in the United States Air Force Reserve. We have verified the following quotes. Air Force, Navy, and commercial pilots have revealed to me cases when a UFO would fly near them, right off the plane's wing, and then just zoom away at incredible speeds. I asked General Curtis LeMay, who for years was head of the Strategic Air Command, for permission to check into the files, and he told me, "Hell no, and don't ask me again." I think some highly secret government UFO investigations are going on that we don't know about, and probably never will unless the Air Force discloses them. Someday soon, someone is going to have strong UFO evidence that can't be explained away. End Senator Goldwater's quote.